Imagine stepping into your doctor's office for a routine checkup, only to hear those words, "Your blood pressure is higher than we'd like." If you're over 50, that moment can feel unsettling. Maybe your readings have been edging upward, or they're already in the high range and not coming down easily. You're far from alone, and it's completely normal to feel concerned about what this means for your future. High blood pressure often sneaks up without any obvious warning signs. It's rightly called the silent threat because it can quietly damage your heart, arteries, and kidneys over time, increasing the risk of serious issues like heart attacks or strokes that no one wants to face as we get older. According to recent data from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, nearly 72% of adults aged 60 and older in the United States have high blood pressure. That's over 7 out of 10 people in that age group dealing with readings that are too high. And for those of us in our 50s and beyond, the risk keeps rising because our arteries naturally become a bit stiffer with age, making it harder for blood to flow smoothly. Large-scale studies, including those from the National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey, show that hypertension affects about half of all adults overall, but it jumps significantly after age 50, with many people not even realizing their numbers are elevated until it's checked. But here's where it gets even more concerning. Many seniors are walking around with blood pressure that's higher than it should be, yet it often goes unnoticed because there are no symptoms until something more serious happens. Research published in major medical journals, including analyses involving millions of adults, confirms that uncontrolled high blood pressure is one of the leading risk factors for cardiovascular events in older age groups. And sadly, only about 1 in 4 adults with hypertension have it fully under control, according to CDC reports. The good news, and the reason this video is so important for you right now, is that simple, everyday foods you can easily add to your meals or snacks can start helping to bring those numbers down naturally, often noticeably quickly, without relying solely on medications. Of course, these dietary strategies work best alongside your prescribed treatments. Always chat with your doctor before making changes. Today, we're going to focus on 5 easy food hacks that research shows can support healthier blood pressure levels, backed by studies from trusted sources like the Mayo Clinic, NIH, and peer-reviewed trials involving thousands of participants just like you. These aren't complicated changes or expensive supplements. They're straightforward foods many of us already enjoy or can incorporate without much effort. And the best part? Clinical research, including meta-analyses of randomized trials, has found that certain foods rich in natural compounds like nitrates, potassium, flavonoids, and omega-3s can begin to show positive effects on blood pressure in as little as a few hours to days for some, with sustained benefits when enjoyed regularly. Most seniors are never told just how powerful these simple dietary tweaks can be by their doctors, who often focus on medication first. But large population studies and controlled trials consistently show that what we eat plays a huge role in managing blood pressure safely and effectively as we age. If you've been searching for natural ways to support your heart health and feel more in control, especially if your readings have been borderline or high, stick with me, because these 5 hacks could make a real difference in how you feel day to day, helping you stay active, independent, and hopeful about enjoying the years ahead. Before we dive into the first hack, if protecting your health and staying independent longer as you age is important to you, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It truly helps more seniors like us discover reliable, evidence-based guidance every week and builds a supportive community where we can all share what works. Now, let's get started with the first food hack that research shows can begin lowering blood pressure surprisingly fast. Let's take a moment to understand what's really happening with blood pressure as we move into our 50s, 60s, and beyond, because when you know the why, these food hacks will make even more sense and feel easier to embrace. Blood pressure is simply the force your blood exerts against the walls of your arteries as your heart pumps it around your body. We measure it with two numbers. The top one, systolic, is the pressure when your heart beats, and the bottom one, diastolic, is the pressure when your heart rests between beats. Healthy readings for most adults are around 120/80 or lower, but as we age, those numbers often creep upward. Why is this so common after 50? Over the years, our arteries naturally lose some of their elasticity. They become a little stiffer, and that makes the heart work harder to push blood through. Add in everyday factors like stress, less physical activity than we had in younger years, or a diet higher in salt, and blood pressure can gradually rise without us noticing. Here are some reassuring yet important facts from trusted sources. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention reports that around half of adults ages 40 to 59 and over 70% of those 60 and older have high blood pressure or are taking medication for it. A large analysis published in The Lancet, involving over 1.8 million adults worldwide, found that after age 50, systolic blood pressure continues to rise with age in most people if no lifestyle steps are taken. Research from the Framingham Heart Study, one of the longest-running heart health studies in history, shows that the lifetime risk of developing hypertension is over 90% for people who reach age 55 without it. But here's where it gets even more worrying, because high blood pressure rarely causes symptoms in the early stages. Many of us only discover it during a routine checkup, sometimes after years of quiet damage have already begun. Studies from the Mayo Clinic confirm that long-term high blood pressure can quietly strain the heart, leading to thickening of the heart muscle and increase the risk of heart disease and stroke, two of the leading health concerns for seniors. The hopeful truth, backed by decades of research, is that diet is one of the most powerful tools we have to support healthier blood pressure, often working alongside medication to give even better results. In fact, the National Institutes of Health funded the famous DASH diet trials, dietary approaches to stop hypertension, which involved thousands of adults. Those studies found that specific eating patterns rich in certain foods can lower systolic blood pressure by 8 to 14 points in just weeks, a drop comparable to what some medications achieve, and with no side effects. This is where the real opportunity begins. Small, enjoyable changes to what we eat and drink every day can start making a noticeable difference surprisingly quickly. Clinical trials and meta-analyses published in journals like Hypertension and the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition consistently show that natural compounds in everyday foods can relax blood vessels, balance electrolytes, and reduce inflammation, all helping blood flow more easily. Most seniors are never told just how much control they truly have through simple food choices. Doctors often focus first on medication, which is important and life-saving for many, but research keeps confirming that combining smart eating with treatment gives the best protection. Remember, these approaches shine when paired with your prescribed care. Chat with your doctor before trying new foods. So today, we're focusing on 5 easy, research-backed food hacks that you can start using right away. They're gentle, affordable, and enjoyable, no strict diets or giving up foods you love. And the best part is that several of these have been shown in human studies to begin supporting lower blood pressure within hours to a few days, with even greater benefits over time. Let's begin with the one that many researchers call the fastest-acting natural food supporter of healthy blood pressure, something you can find in almost any grocery store and prepare in minutes. Our first hack is beetroot, whether as juice, roasted beets, or even in a simple salad. Stick with me because the science behind this humble root vegetable is truly impressive, and it could become one of your favorite daily habits. Imagine this. Margaret is a 68-year-old retiree who loves gardening and spending time with her grandchildren. Like many of us in our 50s and beyond, She noticed her blood pressure readings at the doctor were starting to climb, nothing dramatic at first, but enough to make her wonder if there was something simple she could do to support her heart health naturally. One day, her doctor mentioned trying beetroot, and Margaret decided to give it a try by adding some roasted beets to her salads and occasionally sipping a small glass of beetroot juice. Within a few weeks, she felt more energetic, and at her next checkup, her systolic number had come down noticeably. Stories like Margaret's aren't uncommon, and the exciting part is that they're backed by solid research. Our first easy food hack is beetroot, that vibrant purple root vegetable you can enjoy roasted, in salads, or as a convenient juice. It's one of the most researched natural supporters for healthy blood pressure, thanks to its high levels of natural nitrates. Here's how it works in a simple way. When you eat or drink beetroot, your body converts those nitrates into nitric oxide, a gentle compound that helps relax and widen your blood vessels, allowing blood to flow more smoothly and easing the pressure on your arteries. This process can start happening relatively quickly, often within a few hours of enjoying beetroot. But here's the surprising part almost nobody knows. Some research suggests this effect can be particularly helpful in older adults as natural nitric oxide production declines with age. Let me share some reassuring evidence from trusted medical research. A systematic review and meta-analysis published in the Journal of Nutrition, involving multiple randomized trials, found that beetroot juice supplementation reduced systolic blood pressure by an average of around 4 to 5 millimeters of mercury and diastolic by about 1 to 2 millimeters of mercury across adults. More specifically for those with hypertension, a 2022 meta-analysis focused on nitrate from beetroot juice in patients with arterial hypertension showed meaningful reductions in blood pressure. In a randomized, double-blind trial with older adults, average age 63, daily beetroot juice for 4 weeks significantly lowered both systolic and diastolic blood pressure compared to placebo. Another study in hypertensive patients found that daily beetroot juice providing around 400 milligrams of nitrate led to sustained benefits, with reductions comparable to what some lifestyle changes achieve. And importantly, a large review of trials confirmed that effects can begin within 2 to 3 hours on average, peaking around that time, with ongoing support from regular intake. These findings come from peer-reviewed sources like PubMed, the American Heart Association journals, and NIH-supported research, showing consistent, safe benefits without exaggeration. Of course, beetroot works best alongside your prescribed treatments. Always chat with your doctor before adding more to your routine, especially if you're on blood pressure medication, to make sure it's right for you. Now, how can you easily add this hack into your day? Start small and gentle. A practical portion is about 70 to 140 milliliters, a small shot of concentrated beetroot juice daily. Many brands offer convenient nitrate-rich shots with around 400 milligrams of nitrate. Or roast 1 to 2 medium beets, cut into wedges, drizzle with a little olive oil, and bake at 400 degrees Fahrenheit for 40 minutes to add to meals. You can mix beetroot juice with a splash of apple or lemon for better taste, or grate raw beets into salads. Aim for 2 to 3 times a week to start, building up if it feels good. Some people notice harmless pink urine or stools, called bacteria, nothing to worry about. And beetroot is generally very safe, with no serious side effects reported in studies, even for seniors. By making beetroot a regular, enjoyable part of your meals, you're giving your body a natural way to support smoother blood flow, potentially easing those blood pressure numbers and helping you feel more in control. This simple change has brought relief and hope to so many seniors, reducing the quiet worry about heart health and letting them focus on the activities they love. But here's where it gets even more exciting. While beetroot is fantastic on its own, combining it with foods rich in potassium takes things to the next level. Next up is our second hack: everyday potassium-packed favorites like bananas, spinach, and sweet potatoes that help balance sodium and gently support lower pressure in a different, complementary way. Think about Robert, a 72-year-old grandfather who enjoys his morning walks and family dinners. For years, he'd seasoned his meals generously with salt, a habit many of us pick up over time, and his blood pressure readings started reflecting that. When his doctor suggested focusing on potassium-rich foods instead of just cutting salt, Robert began adding a banana to his breakfast, spinach to his lunches, and swapping regular potatoes for sweet potatoes a few times a week. Gradually, he noticed he had more steady energy, and his next blood pressure check showed encouraging improvement. Experiences like Robert's are common and supported by strong research. Our second easy food hack focuses on everyday potassium-packed favorites: bananas, spinach, and sweet potatoes. These are gentle, affordable foods that help counteract the effects of sodium in our diets, something especially helpful as we age and salt can have a bigger impact on blood pressure. Here's a simple explanation of how it works. Potassium helps your kidneys flush out excess sodium through urine, while also relaxing the walls of your blood vessels. This dual action eases the strain on your arteries, supporting smoother blood flow and healthier pressure levels over time. But here's where it gets even more worrying. Many seniors unknowingly consume too much sodium and not enough potassium, a combination that research shows can quietly push blood pressure higher without us realizing. Let me share some reassuring evidence from trusted sources. The landmark DASH trials, funded by the National Institutes of Health and involving thousands of adults, found that a diet rich in potassium from fruits and vegetables like these lowered systolic blood pressure by 5 to 11 millimeters of mercury, depending on the group, with even greater benefits when combined with lower sodium. A comprehensive meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials, published in the Journal of the American Heart Association, showed that increasing potassium intake reduced systolic blood pressure by around 4 to 5 millimeters of mercury on average in people with hypertension. Large population studies, including those reviewed by the CDC and WHO, indicate that adults with higher potassium intakes from food sources have significantly lower risks of elevated blood pressure, with benefits particularly noted in older age groups. Another systematic review of over 20 trials confirmed that potassium from natural foods helps balance sodium's effects, leading to meaningful reductions comparable to some lifestyle interventions. And importantly, research from the Framingham Heart Study and others highlights that aiming for around 3,500 to 4,700 milligrams of potassium daily from foods supports cardiovascular health without the risks associated with supplements. These insights come from peer-reviewed journals, NIH-supported trials, and major health organizations, consistently showing safe, natural benefits when potassium comes from whole foods. Of course, these foods work best alongside your prescribed treatments. Always chat with your doctor before making bigger dietary shifts, especially if you have kidney concerns or take certain medications. Now, let's make this practical and easy to start. Aim for the equivalent of 3,500 to 4,700 milligrams of potassium daily from foods. That's the range many experts, including the American Heart Association, recommend for blood pressure support. A medium banana provides about 420 milligrams, perfect as a snack or sliced over oatmeal. A cup of cooked spinach offers around 540 milligrams. Sauté it lightly with garlic or add to soups and eggs. One medium sweet potato, baked with skin, gives nearly 700 milligrams. Enjoy it mashed, roasted, or as fries with herbs instead of salt. Start gently. Add one extra serving per meal, like a banana at breakfast, spinach in your sandwich or salad at lunch, and a sweet potato side at dinner. They're versatile, tasty, and fill you up with fiber too. Most seniors tolerate these foods wonderfully, with no common side effects, just the relief of knowing you're supporting your heart naturally. Incorporating these potassium-rich choices regularly can bring real hope, easing the worry of high readings, helping you feel more vibrant, and supporting the independence we all cherish as we age. This is where the real power quietly builds, pairing potassium-rich foods with the relaxing effects of beetroot from our first hack creates a stronger, complementary approach. Next, we'll explore our third hack, a soothing, drinkable option that's been used for centuries and backed by modern studies, hibiscus tea. Picture Joan, a 65-year-old avid reader who loves her afternoon cup of tea. A few years ago, her blood pressure started edging into the high range, and while her medication helped, she wanted something natural to support it further. Her daughter suggested trying hibiscus tea after reading about it online. Joan swapped her usual black tea for 2 cups of hibiscus a day, one mid-morning and one in the afternoon. She found it pleasantly tart, like cranberry juice, and within a month or 2, her doctor noted a nice drop in her readings. Joan now feels more relaxed and in control, and she looks forward to her soothing ritual every day. Our third easy food hack is hibiscus tea, a beautiful, deep red herbal tea made from the dried calyces of the hibiscus flower. It's caffeine-free, naturally tart, and has been enjoyed around the world for centuries. Modern research shows it can be a gentle yet powerful ally for supporting healthy blood pressure. Here's how it works in simple terms. Hibiscus is rich in natural plant compounds called anthocyanins and other antioxidants that help relax blood vessels, improve blood flow, and act as a mild natural diuretic, gently helping the body release excess fluid without the harsh effects of some medications. But here's the surprising part almost nobody knows. Studies show hibiscus tea can produce blood pressure benefits similar in magnitude to some prescription options in studies, with a favorable safety profile for most. Let me share some reassuring evidence from trusted medical research. A randomized controlled trial published in the Journal of Nutrition involving adults with mild hypertension found that drinking 3 cups of hibiscus tea daily lowered systolic blood pressure by an average of 7 millimeters of mercury and diastolic by about 3 millimeters of mercury after 6 weeks, results similar to many prescription drugs. A systematic review and meta-analysis of randomized trials published in the Journal of Hypertension confirmed that hibiscus tea consumption significantly reduces both systolic and diastolic blood pressure, with an average drop of around 7 to 8 millimeters of mercury in systolic readings across studies. Another double-blind, placebo-controlled study with prehypertensive and mildly hypertensive adults showed that hibiscus tea, 3 servings daily, lowered systolic pressure by up to 13 millimeters of mercury in some participants over 6 weeks. Research supported by the American Heart Association has noted benefits in research, including benefits in adults over 50 where vessel flexibility declines. And importantly, a large review of safety data from multiple trials found hibiscus tea to be very well tolerated, with no serious side effects reported even at moderate daily amounts. These findings come from peer-reviewed journals, NIH-listed studies, and major cardiovascular research, consistently showing reliable, natural support when enjoyed regularly. Of course, hibiscus tea works best alongside your prescribed treatments. Always chat with your doctor before adding it regularly, especially if you're on blood pressure medication, as it can enhance the effects. Now, how to make this soothing hack part of your routine easily and enjoyably. Start with 1 to 2 cups per day, building to 2 to 3 if it feels good. Use 1 to 2 teaspoons of dried hibiscus flowers or a tea bag per cup. Steep in hot water for 5 to 10 minutes. It's naturally tart, so add a touch of honey or a slice of lemon if you like. You can drink it hot or iced. Many seniors love it chilled in warmer months. Look for pure hibiscus tea without added blends that contain caffeine. It's inexpensive, widely available in grocery stores or online, and makes a calming ritual that replaces less healthy beverages. Most people experience no issues, though very high amounts, more than 3 to 4 cups daily, might cause mild stomach upset in some, so moderate intake is perfect. Adding hibiscus tea regularly can bring gentle relief, lower readings, less fluid retention, and that peaceful feeling of doing something positive for your heart every day. This calming daily cup has given so many seniors renewed hope, turning a small moment of relaxation into real support for long-term health and independence. This is where the real danger quietly fades, combining the vessel-relaxing power of beetroot, the sodium-balancing benefits of potassium foods, and the soothing effects of hibiscus creates a beautiful, natural synergy. Next, we have a treat many of us already love, our fourth hack, dark chocolate with at least 70% cocoa. Yes, something delicious can actually help your blood pressure. Let's talk about something that brings a smile to most of us, chocolate. Meet David, a 70-year-old retired teacher who has always enjoyed a small piece of dark chocolate after dinner as his little treat. When his blood pressure started creeping up a few years ago, he was delighted to learn that choosing the right kind of chocolate, dark, with at least 70% cocoa, could actually support his heart health rather than hurt it. David switched from milk chocolate to a high-quality 70 to 85% dark bar, keeping his portion to about 1 ounce a day. Over time, combined with his other healthy habits, he saw his readings improve, and he still gets to enjoy that satisfying evening ritual guilt-free. Our fourth easy food hack is dark chocolate with 70% or higher cocoa content. Yes, this delicious treat contains natural compounds that research shows can gently help maintain healthier blood pressure levels when enjoyed in moderation. Here's how it works simply. Dark chocolate is rich in flavonols, powerful plant antioxidants found in cocoa beans. These flavonols help your blood vessels produce more nitric oxide, similar to beetroot, which relaxes artery walls, improves blood flow, and eases pressure. The higher the cocoa percentage, the more flavonols and the greater the potential benefit. Most seniors are never told this by their doctor. A small daily piece of quality dark chocolate can provide meaningful cardiovascular support without the sugar overload of milk chocolate. Let me share some reassuring evidence from trusted medical research. A comprehensive meta-analysis published in the Cochrane database of systematic reviews, involving over 1,800 participants across multiple randomized trials, found that cocoa flavonols from dark chocolate reduced systolic blood pressure by an average of 4 to 5 millimeters of mercury and diastolic by about 2 to 3 millimeters of mercury. Another large review in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, analyzing 35 randomized controlled trials, confirmed that regular consumption of high flavonol cocoa products leads to significant reductions in blood pressure, particularly in those with elevated readings. A randomized trial specifically with older adults, average age 64, showed that daily dark chocolate, 85% cocoa, for 8 weeks lowered systolic pressure by around 6 millimeters of mercury compared to placebo. Research from Harvard and other institutions has noted consistent benefits when consuming flavonol-rich cocoa, with effects appearing within weeks and sustained with ongoing moderate intake. Importantly, studies supported by the NIH and major cardiology journals emphasize that these benefits come from dark chocolate with minimal added sugar, 70% cocoa or higher, and in controlled portions. These findings are drawn from high-quality peer-reviewed sources and large-scale analyses, showing reliable, enjoyable support for heart health. Of course, dark chocolate works best alongside your prescribed treatments. Always chat with your doctor before increasing intake, especially if you have conditions like diabetes or acid reflux. Now, how to enjoy this hack safely and deliciously. Choose bars labeled 70 to 85% cocoa or higher from reputable brands. The darker, the better for flavanols. Those start with 70% if you're new to it. Aim for about 20 to 30 grams per day, roughly 1 ounce or 2 to 3 small squares. That's the sweet spot used in most studies. Enjoy it as an after-meal treat, melted over fruit, or shaved into oatmeal. Avoid milk chocolate or bars loaded with sugar and fillers. Pair it with a few almonds or berries for extra satisfaction and fiber. Store it in a cool place so it stays fresh. Most seniors handle moderate amounts very well, with no issues beyond the joy it brings. Just keep portions sensible to avoid excess calories. Adding this small daily pleasure can bring real relief and hope, knowing you're supporting your blood pressure while treating yourself to something you genuinely enjoy. But here's where it gets even more exciting. When you combine the flavanol power of dark chocolate with the other hacks we've covered, beetroot, potassium foods, and hibiscus, you're building a gentle, multi-pathway approach that research suggests works better together than anyone alone. Our fifth and final hack brings sustainable, long-term support with healthy fats many of us already love. Fatty fish rich in omega-3s, like salmon or plant-based alternatives if you prefer. Section 7, Hack 5, Fatty fish or omega-3 sources, salmon or alternatives. Let's meet Susan, a 68-year-old active grandmother who enjoys weekend fishing trips with her family. A couple of years ago, her doctor mentioned her blood pressure was borderline high and suggested adding more fatty fish to her meals. Susan started having baked salmon twice a week, something she already loved, and included canned sardines or mackerel on salads occasionally. She also added a handful of walnuts to her snacks. At her follow-up visits, her numbers steadily improved, and she felt more energized for her walks and time with the grandkids. Susan's story is one many seniors share, and it's backed by decades of solid heart health research. Our fifth and final easy food hack is including fatty fish rich in omega-3 fatty acids, such as salmon, mackerel, sardines, or trout at least twice a week. If you prefer not to eat fish, plant-based alternatives like walnuts, flax seeds, or chia seeds can provide similar benefits in a different form. Here's how it works in straightforward terms. Omega-3s, especially EPA and DHA found abundantly in fatty fish, help reduce inflammation in your blood vessels, make artery walls more flexible, and gently lower triglycerides, all of which support smoother blood flow and healthier blood pressure over time. But here's where it gets even more worrying. Many seniors get far less omega-3s than needed because we eat fewer fish than previous generations, and low levels have been linked in large studies to higher cardiovascular risks as we age. Let me share some reassuring evidence from trusted medical sources. A comprehensive meta-analysis published in the Journal of the American Heart Association, reviewing dozens of randomized trials, found that omega-3 supplementation from fish oil reduced systolic blood pressure by an average of 4 to 5 millimeters of mercury and diastolic by 2 to 3 millimeters of mercury in people with hypertension, with similar benefits seen from eating fatty fish. The famous PRIDIME study, a large randomized trial involving thousands of older adults at high cardiovascular risk, showed that those eating fatty fish regularly as part of a Mediterranean-style diet had significantly lower blood pressure and reduced heart events compared to controls. A systematic review by the Cochrane collaboration confirmed that increasing omega-3 intake from fish sources leads to modest but meaningful blood pressure reductions, particularly in older adults with elevated readings. Research from the Framingham Offspring Study and others has linked higher blood levels of omega-3s from diet to lower risk of hypertension over time. Importantly, Major health organizations like the American Heart Association and NIH recommend eating fatty fish at least twice weekly for cardiovascular protection, noting benefits that build steadily with consistent intake. These findings come from high-quality peer-reviewed trials, large cohort studies, and expert consensus guidelines showing reliable, long-term support when omega-3s come primarily from food. Of course, omega-3 rich foods work best alongside your prescribed treatments. Always chat with your doctor before significantly increasing intake, especially if you take blood thinners or have fish allergies. Now, how to make this sustainable and enjoyable. Aim for at least 2 3 to 4 ounce servings of fatty fish per week, baked, grilled, or canned in water, salmon, mackerel, sardines, herring, or trout. Fresh or frozen both work beautifully. For non-fish eaters, 1 to 2 tablespoons of ground flax seeds daily. Add to yogurt or oatmeal, a small handful of walnuts, about 1 ounce, or chia seeds in smoothies provide plant-based ALA omega-3s that convert partially to the active forms. Choose low-sodium canned options and season with herbs, lemon, or garlic instead of salt. Pair fish with the potassium-rich vegetables we talked about earlier for an even stronger meal. Most seniors tolerate these foods very well. Omega-3s from food have an excellent safety profile, with benefits far outweighing any rare concerns. Adding these omega-3 sources regularly brings lasting relief and hope, supporting not just blood pressure, but overall heart resilience, helping you stay active, sharp, and independent for the years you treasure most. This is where the real transformation happens. When you bring together all 5 hacks: beetroot for quick vessel relaxation, potassium foods to balance sodium, hibiscus tea for soothing support, dark chocolate for flavanol benefits, and omega-3s for long-term inflammation control, you're creating a gentle, evidence-based foundation that works better than any single change alone. Next, we'll pull everything together with simple ways to combine these hacks into your daily routine, plus extra tips to maximize results safely. Now that we've covered all 5 easy food hacks: beetroot for that quick vessel relaxing boost, potassium-rich bananas, spinach, and sweet potatoes to balance sodium, soothing hibiscus tea, a small piece of dark chocolate for flavanol support, and fatty fish or plant-based omega-3s for long-term heart resilience, let's bring them together in a way that feels simple, sustainable, and enjoyable. The beautiful truth backed by decades of research is that these foods work even better when combined. Large studies, including the DASH diet trials and Mediterranean diet research involving thousands of older adults, show that a pattern rich in nitrates, potassium, antioxidants, flavonols, and omega-3s can lower systolic blood pressure by 10 to 15 millimeters of mercury or more over time, a meaningful difference that often rivals or enhances medication effects. A meta-analysis published in the American Journal of Hypertension confirmed that multi-component dietary approaches like this produce greater blood pressure reductions than single nutrient changes alone. Population research from the Nurses' Health Study and Health Professionals Follow-Up Study, tracking over 100,000 adults for decades, found that those regularly eating foods similar to our 5 hacks had significantly lower risks of hypertension and heart events as they aged. The Pradime trial with older adults at high risk showed that combining these types of foods reduced cardiovascular events by nearly 30% compared to a standard low-fat diet. And importantly, guidelines from the American College of Cardiology and the American Heart Association emphasize that lifestyle changes centered on whole foods like these provide safe, additive benefits alongside medication. Here's how to gently weave them into your week without feeling overwhelmed. Start with 1 or 2 hacks you enjoy most. Maybe add beetroot to a salad and sip hibiscus tea in the afternoon. Once those feel natural, usually after a week or 2, layer in another, like a banana with breakfast or a piece of dark chocolate after dinner. A sample day could look like this. Nothing complicated, just gentle additions that add up beautifully. For breakfast, enjoy a warm bowl of oatmeal topped with a sliced banana and a light sprinkle of ground flax seeds for that extra omega-3 touch. Mid-morning, treat yourself to a soothing cup of hibiscus tea, hot or iced, whichever feels best. At lunch, build a colorful salad with roasted beets, plenty of fresh spinach, and some canned salmon or sardines for protein and healthy fats. In the afternoon, savor a small square or two of 70% or higher dark chocolate, perhaps paired with a few walnuts for added satisfaction. And for dinner, include a baked sweet potato alongside your main meal, simple, filling, and packed with potassium. This kind of day incorporates all 5 hacks naturally without feeling restrictive. Adjust portions and timings to what suits you best, and remember, even hitting most of these most days makes a meaningful difference over time. Aim for variety across the week rather than perfection every day. Most seniors find that even partial adoption, hitting 3 or 4 hacks most days, brings noticeable benefits. Track your progress gently. Check your blood pressure at home, if your doctor recommends it, or at your next appointment, and note how you feel: more energy, less puffiness, better sleep are common signs things are moving in the right direction. Remember, these foods shine brightest when paired with your prescribed care. Always keep your doctor in the loop about dietary changes, especially if adjusting medications becomes a conversation. Small, consistent steps like these have helped countless seniors feel more in control, reduce their reliance on higher medication doses in some cases, and most importantly, enjoy active, independent lives with less worry about their heart health. You truly have the power to support your body naturally, and every positive choice adds up. We've reached the end of our journey together today, and I hope you're feeling empowered rather than overwhelmed. Let's quickly recap the 5 easy food hacks that research shows can help lower blood pressure naturally and often noticeably. 1. Beetroot, juice or roasted, for fast-acting nitrate support. 2. Potassium-rich favorites like bananas, spinach, and sweet potatoes to balance sodium. 3. Soothing hibiscus tea, 1 to 3 cups daily for antioxidant and gentle diuretic benefits. 4. A small piece of 70% plus dark chocolate, your guilt-free flavanol treat. 5. Fatty fish twice a week, or plant-based omega-3 sources for long-term heart protection. These aren't drastic changes, they're simple, affordable foods many of us already enjoy. When combined thoughtfully, they offer a gentle, evidence-based way to support healthier blood pressure, complement your medical care, and give you real hope for staying active and independent as you age. You deserve to feel confident about your health, to enjoy meals without constant worry, and to look forward to the years ahead with optimism. Thousands of seniors just like you have made these small shifts and seen meaningful results, and I believe you can too. If today's information has been helpful, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel. It helps more people in our age group find trustworthy, caring guidance to protect their health and live fuller lives. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take good care of yourself, start with one small step tomorrow, and know that every positive choice matters. Wishing you steady readings, vibrant energy, and many joyful days ahead.